Hey guys, Jen here. Finally getting around to doing my live stream today. I'm wearing my winter gear because we are approaching spring finally and it's starting to get some good weather, and today it was cold again, so I thought rock the winter gear for another day or so. Also, my hair looked like shit today, so hence the hat. Anyhow, so welcome to Live with Jen B. Today we are talking about Story TV, which is when I talk all about craft, writing novels, the craft of writing fiction, not writing novels specifically, and why you should do it, because it's the most important thing you could ever do for your writing career if you want to write fiction. So earlier today, I was talking with one of my clients. We had a call just to go through, the scenes that he had written, and we were talking about them. And then he was telling me about this conference that he went to recently, and the fact that he had learned all this stuff, and that the knowledge that he gained on the craft was sort of just helping to solidify everything that we had been working on together. And then he mentioned a couple of craft books and was like, have you ever read those? And so we started talking about different craft books and really just got into a discussion about the fact that craft is something you have to sort of be committed to as a storyteller for the life of you being a storyteller. So whenever you decide to stop, you obviously don't have to learn craft anymore, but I would say if you plan on writing stories for the rest of your life, if you plan on being a novelist, having a writing career from it, then you definitely are going to be a student of story for the rest of your life. So it's really important to always be reading books on craft and learning more about craft, because even though you maybe feel like you know everything or feel like you understand it completely, I feel like there's always another level of understanding that you can come to when you just do, more exploration on it, and not just watch movies and break down the structure and pay attention to how the story unfolds, but also read craft books and read different opinions and different sort of angles and different people's viewpoints on how to do things, because I think that helps to understand this whole thing of putting a good story together. And so then after our call, I got a surprise in my email inbox. Wow, I cannot talk today. And I got 2 copies of the craft books that he was telling me about. So thought that was really cool, really a nice thing to do, to send me a couple of craft books. And so I thought I would pay it forward and share one of my favorite craft books and give a copy away to someone on the live stream. So I'm going to tell you about my favorite craft book, and I'm just trying to see if I can get the comments to come up on here. All right, so I talked about this recently, actually. You'll probably hear me talk about this a lot because this is my favorite craft book. So Story Engineering by Larry Brooks, the best book on craft when you want to be a novelist, when you actually want to know how to tell good stories. That is the book. So I'm going to give a copy of this away right now to someone on the live stream who wants it. You just have to comment. So first person to comment and say, I want Story Engineering, you're going to get a copy. I'm going to send it to you. If you are local, if you're in the United States, then I will mail you a copy, an actual physical copy. And if you are international, then I will send you a digital version. So first person to comment, I want Story Engineering, go. But yeah, so this is my favorite craft book. It's something that I think every reader should read. And so today I'm going to just challenge you to give the gift of craft to somebody else. So if you've ever read any craft books that you enjoyed, if you've ever actually, just found a book that changed your writing life like this one changed mine, then I highly, highly recommend that you share that book with somebody else that you know who wants to write stories, because the more people who can understand craft and understand how storytelling works, the more we can get writers elevated beyond that slush pile where they're just sending their stories and they're just going onto this desk randomly, and no one's actually reading them because they don't have any craft in them. They don't actually follow what a story is supposed to do, and so for that reason they just stay in a slush pile, and an editor never actually sees them, or an agent never sees them, and you never get your story out there, or you never end up self-publishing because if you do but you didn't actually learn craft, then your story is probably sitting there and you're not getting any readers and you're wondering why. So craft is super important, and it's an element that I see missing in so many writers, and I want to change that. I want to just make sure that writers understand that if you can master craft, even as a beginner, if you can understand craft and really master it, you can just skyrocket yourself above all the writers out there who refuse to learn craft, or who refuse to believe that stories have principles and guidelines that need to be followed, because they do. And that's the whole point of understanding craft. And I think that, as a writer, if you want to write fiction especially, and if you want to write novels and have a career out of it, then you have a responsibility to learn the craft of telling stories and of, understanding how it actually works. So for me, I tell myself all the time, I maybe am not the best fiction writer in the world. I'm working on that. That's a skill that I'm building. However, I know that I'm a really badass storyteller, and it's because I have practiced enough, I've studied enough, I've read enough craft books, I've watched tons and tons of movies and deconstructed them, but I still don't call that enough. Like, I still make sure to always be reading new stuff and looking at new perspectives on storytelling, because there's always a new level that you could learn. So for anyone who's just jumping on, I see some new people have jumped on the live stream. I'm giving away one copy of this book right here, Story Engineering. All you have to do is comment and say, I want Story Engineering, and I will send it to you. First person to comment and say that gets it. So comment if you want to win that giveaway. And I was just saying, because one of my clients actually sent me a couple of craft books earlier today, and so I thought I would pay it forward and share a craft book with somebody else. So that is what I'm doing this live stream on tonight. But yeah, I think it's really important to always be growing. Shonda, absolutely. Couldn't agree with that more. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's, I think, naive to think that you can just read a couple of books and know how to tell a good story and that's it. Like, I think you have to just be committed to being a lifelong student of story and realizing that, like, you have to just always know that there's another level of understanding or a deeper knowledge that you could get about how to do something. And it's always a good idea to just keep learning and keep watching stories unfold, reading books and watching movies and seeing how they do it. Because if you do that, then you'll start to understand how to use your own ideas and execute it like an actual story that you've seen on the big screen or that you've read in a novel. So I don't believe that you can just read books or watch movies and know how to tell stories, because, I mean, maybe you can. So maybe some people have that, you know, what do you call it? Like, they've just sort of intuitively taken it in because they've read a lot of books. But I think, honestly, the bigger thing is that you have to understand what it is you're doing, because otherwise you're at a disadvantage. Because, right, innate, exactly. You're at a disadvantage if you don't do that for yourself, because then if someone asks you, how did you do that? Or like, if you, let's say, write a really badass story, well, then you're looking at it like, well, what did I do? Like, you can't figure out what you did to make it work. How are you going to do it again? So if you can understand the elements of craft and how they work and be able to actually explain them if you needed to, then that's just going to help you tell better stories, because now you understand what is actually going into making a story work. So, I mean, that for me is the most empowering thing with writing stories, is just knowing how they work and how to put them together, because then I know no matter what idea I have, I can always turn it into an actual story just by knowing the principles and understanding them and studying them. So there's probably not a lot of people on live right now because it's late. So if you are watching this as a replay and someone hasn't commented yet to win a copy of this book right here, Story Engineering by Larry Brooks, this is my favorite craft book. And like I said, I'm giving one copy away right now to whoever wants it, but you have to comment and say, I want Story Engineering. First person to do it, so whether it's live or on the replay, is going to get it. So just first person to comment, I want Story Engineering, and I will send you a copy. If I was doing this in the daytime, there would already be like 50 comments probably. But yeah, someone comment, I want Story Engineering, I'm going to send you a copy. So I just think, again, that it's important to share what you know, so and share what you've learned. And for me, craft has been that thing that changed everything for me. So I, you know, for 13 years of my life, wanted to be a good storyteller and loved the idea of writing stories, but I just never knew what I was doing. And so finally, when I understood craft and started to learn it, and I spent that time to really just understand it and sort of give myself like a, you know, homemade MFA in how to write stories, it changed everything, because now I actually know how to write a good story. So not only can I help other people, but I also can make my stories better. And I know now that, like, looking at the novels that I've written recently, there's no way those could have been written a few years ago if I didn't know the stuff that I know now. So craft is super important. So my thing here, the what I'm going to leave you with, I'm actually going to go and do a writing session with my group right now, so I have to go. But I didn't want to not do my live stream because I've been really consistent and I'm proud of myself, so I just want to keep going with that. But anyway, so I'm going to give you an assignment, which is to go share a craft book with somebody. Give the gift of craft. So find someone you know who, you know, needs a new craft book, give them one. Either buy it for them or, you know, give them one you've read a million times that you don't need anymore. I'm giving this one away right now. Whoever wants it, one person, comment and say, I want Story Engineering, and you'll get the copy. And just put it in the comments. Like I said, first person wins it. So I'm giving that one away, but I would highly, highly just recommend that you give a gift of craft to someone you know that writes stories or that wants to write stories, because it's so important that writers learn craft. And I think so many new writers and beginning writers don't know craft enough to actually write a good story, and it just keeps them spinning their wheels forever and ever and ever. And I understand, because that was me for a very long time until I finally started learning craft. So give the gift of craft to somebody else that you know that needs it. Give them a book, buy them a copy, whatever you can do to just pass on the word of learning craft, because it is absolutely the most important thing you could ever do for your writing career if you want to write fiction. All right, so that's all I've got for you today. I'm going to go write with my group now. And since no one has commented yet, if you're watching this as a replay and you want a copy, Story Engineering by Larry Brooks. I'm giving one copy away for free. All you have to do is comment and say, I want Story Engineering. So leave a comment, and when you are ready, pass on craft to somebody, because it's really important for them to know it. And if you want to learn craft, if you want to master craft and actually start to implement it in your own writing life, be sure to check out my group, the Bestselling Author Mastermind. The doors are open right now, but they are closing on Sunday, so be sure to check it out as soon as you can if you're interested. But that group is all about how to master craft, how to write better stories. All right, we have a winner. Heather, send me an email, jennifer@jenniferblanchard.net, or message my Facebook page here, and I will get your address so that I can send you a copy. Congratulations, you are the winner of Story Engineering. This is going to change your writing life, and you are going to just be in for a freaking treat. So send me your email, send me your mail, email me, mail you, give me your address. Okay, I can't talk. Clearly, I've had a very long day, so I need to go. All right, so yeah, anyway, if you want to learn craft, if you want to step up and be the writer that you dream of being and actually take action and do the habits and all the things that you would do if you were actually being the writer you want to be, then be sure to check out my group, the Bestselling Author Mastermind, jenniferblanchard.net/mastermind, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye.